Hey guys, welcome back. Today, I'm going to recap a 2019 drama comedy film named Yes God Yes. So, let's begin. The movie begins with Alice, a sexually inexperienced but curious junior at a strict Midwestern co-ed Catholic high school, attends morality class where Father Murphy instructs her that any sexual activity not aimed toward procreation within a heterosexual marriage is a sin, with eternal damnation as punishment. After the class, she struggles with accepting her burgeoning sexual desire after Father Murphy and her best friend, Laura, causing her to feel ashamed of them. Later that day, at her house, Alex plays a game on her computer with an opponent who, in the process, sends a nude picture to her and asks if she wants more. They begin to have a conversation leading to a sex chat. She touches herself and stops when her mother, Gail, calls out her name for dinner. The following Monday, she gets picked up by her best friend Laura, who asks her about her encounter with Wade at her party during the weekend. Alex tells her they didn't do anything contrary to the rumors she heard. Now at the school after a morality class, Alex gets notified during the break with Laura that the school is abuzz with a rumor that Alice tossed the salad of her classmate, Wade, at Laura's party over the weekend. Alice denies this, admitting to not knowing what the phrase means. Laura then asks Beth why she didn't come to her party. Beth tells her she was on a retreat run by the school, which is called Kirkos. She shows them the necklace she got there and informs them she is not allowed to talk about it with the people that haven't gone, whereby she edges them to sign up for it later. The rumor reaches Mrs. Veda, who prevents Alice from serving at Mass. During the Mass, Mrs. Veda talks to Alex, telling her she needs to conduct herself if she wants to keep being a gift bearer and her body belongs to God. Later that day, during the Sacrament of Reconciliation, Alice confesses venial sins to Father Murphy and receives a light penance of 20 prayers, which she immediately and fervently fulfills in the school chapel. Father Murphy and Mrs. Veda's words about sex echoing in her mind in the Kirkos retreat. The next day, Alice and Laura both decide to attend the school's next, Kirkos, spiritual retreat. On getting to the campground, Alex has doubts about staying for the retreat. Still, Laura convinces her since Alice has to return to the path of righteousness and Laura to be accepted by Nina, a popular senior. Now on the retreat campgrounds, Laura is excited to find that Nina is a retreat leader, while Alice eyes Chris, a hunky senior who is also a retreat leader. After this, Nina welcomes Alice, informing her they are in the same cabin, which leaves Laura out. During the process of settling in, Nina gives Alice a sweatshirt and also asks her if she is with her cell phone or bracelets, since they are not to be with it. Alice then proceeds to give her only her bracelet, leaving her phone out, which she claims she is not with. Later that day, they were told to find their group number, leaving them with a different group. Alice soon locates her number and finds out she is assigned to Chris' group. Chris is friendly and enthusiastic, where he immediately welcomes her. Not long after, Father Murphy talks to them about why they are there, with the benefits they will gain in the camp. He instructs them to fill out the papers Mrs. Velda is passing out to them, in which they are to circle their feelings in the past year. During the lunch hour, Chris engages Alice in a conversation. After this, Nina talks to the campers about herself and her family. In the retreat, she realizes God loves her, and she is loved generally. That night, while playing on her contraband cell phone, Alice accidentally discovers that she can pleasure herself using her phone's vibrating feature. However, she stops after looking at the crucifix hanging in her room. On the second day of the retreat, Alice fakes an injury on a hike to get closer to Chris. He then carries her back to the cabin. On getting to the cabin, Alice takes her phone from the locker, but is interrupted by a knock. Nina comes in to check on her. In the process of leaving, Alice's phone vibrates. Nina confiscates Alice's phone and tells her she has no choice but to tell Father Murphy. Soon after, they all gather for a photo shoot, in which a classmate asks Alice what she had for breakfast. He soon makes a joke of her for not having a Wade salad. After the photo shoot, Father Murphy calls Alice to inquire about the phone since she didn't follow their rules. As punishment, Father Murphy assigns Alice to cleaning duties around the retreat house. Once alone, she logs onto an AOL chat room from Father Murphy's office computer to ask what tossing salad means. Before she can find out, the sound of footsteps causes her to shut off the computer and leave hastily. She runs into Nina, who gives her a marshmallow she saved for her after lunch. She also tells her she is not angry with her about the phone issue, so she should keep up the good work since she thinks she is on the right track now. Later in the night, Father Murphy and Ms. Velda read out the letters they received from each parent to them. On the third day of the retreat, in Alice's group, Chris asks the people in his group to share their stories when life has been difficult and overwhelming, when they felt Jesus had been far away. After each person, Alice shares their story about how their dog died. Later, during lunch, Father Murphy announces his discovery of an explicit chat on his computer. He asks for the person responsible to come out. Still, of course, no one claims responsibility. Since no one took responsibility, he tells them he hopes the person feels compelled by the Spirit of Christ to own up to the truth and tell him before the retreat is over. After which, during their one-on-one section with Father Murphy, he asked questions about Alice's relationship with God and referred to the list of the feelings she circled out on day one. In the process, he pushes Alice to confess to acting on her sexual temptations with Wade since he doesn't believe her insistence that nothing happened. Later in the evening, during her cleaning, Alice confronts Wade, asking him what his problem with her is. Wade tells her his girlfriend almost dumped him because of the rumor she started. On hearing this, Alice denies it and asks him about his complicity in the rumors spread by failing to deny it. She then tells him he needs to start denying it since they both know nothing happened because people believe she is a slut, including the teachers, and without admitting his fault or apologizing, he leaves as soon as he sees Father Murphy. Again on cleaning duty, Alice witnesses Nina kissing, then filleting another senior leader in the woods, after which she grinds the mopping stick against her genitalia and stops immediately when she sees a teacher. Immediately, Alice finds Laura and asks if she can talk to her. Laura asks her what she wants to talk about, since she needs to get back to Nina. Alice then tells Laura about Nina's escapades in the woods. Laura refuses to believe Alice and accuses her of making things up, as she did in her group about her dog dying. Alice then replied that she was not making it up. She tells her she didn't have a choice because she didn't know what to do since she didn't have anything to say in her group. Laura accuses Alice of wanting attention, and she believes that she did toss Wade's salad. Instantly in her defense, Alice tells her she doesn't know what it means. Immediately, Laura tells her to quit to stop pretending since she knows what it means, as she also knows the sex scene in Titanic. She also accuses her of breaking into Father Murphy's office, and ends their friendship, calling Alice a pervy psycho. Alice returns to Father Murphy's office and frames Wade for the earlier break-in by dropping a band on his table, after which, she sees Father Murphy coming. While hiding to make her escape, she catches Father Murphy masturbating to a pornographic video saved on his computer. Now outside, Chris sees her and asks if she wants to talk. Finding herself alone with Chris, Alice kisses him, but he becomes overwhelmed and runs away. That night, during their music gathering, Alice flees the campgrounds and stumbles upon a lesbian bar. She enters and orders a wine. While drinking, Gina asks if she is from the Catholic Youth Retreat. She and the owner, Gina, then commiserate about how the fear of damnation can warp an adolescent's development. Alice tells her she thinks she is going to hell for having cyber sex and for rewinding the Titanic sex scene 3 times. Gina then tells Alice that nobody knows what they are doing, since everybody is trying to figure it out themselves. She also counsels Alice to be careful online and not to give anybody her password, since nobody is trustworthy. After this, Gina offers to give her a ride back to the retreat since she doesn't want any nun looking for her at the bar. On returning to the campground before leaving, Gina encourages Alice to look into colleges on the west and east coasts and finally satisfies Alice's curiosity about what tossing salad means. On the last day of the retreat, Alice befriends a socially awkward classmate. Later on, Laura apologizes to Alice for doubting telling and tells her it was Wade since they found his bracelet in Father Murphy's office, and he must have also spread the rumor about him and Alice since he is gay. At a whole group sharing session, Father Murphy pulls Wade aside with Wade on the hook for the explicit chat incident, whereby he makes him apologize. After this, Alice talks to everyone and reminds the retreat attendees that everyone is hiding stuff. She implores them to treat each other honestly and respectfully, as Jesus wanted. Back at school, Alice reassures a still uncomfortable Chris that they can be friends, and they hug each other, after which she confesses her sins to Father Murphy. Alice also boldly reveals that while on the retreat, she saw a video of people having sex, in which both of them know what she is talking about but not discussing. She then asks about the implications of her confession. Father Murphy assigns a heavier penance of 100 prayers, but instead of remaining in the chapel, Alice goes home to rewatch and masturbate to the sex scene, and the movie ends here. So I hope you enjoy the video. So click any video of 3 them and enjoy next, and don't forget to subscribe our channel and hit the like button. Thank you for watching. See you soon.